Another important feature of the positive trial is that it is focused on women with hormone-responsive breast cancer. Because in this subset of women, the boost of hormones during pregnancy was considered to be dangerous in the past. So we wanted to focus on this specific population, and also we wanted to address the issue in women who are at risk of not being able to have a pregnancy after the 5 or 10 years endocrine therapy. So this is why the design was really very specific. And so the inclusion criteria was limited to women who desire to get pregnant. Not all women desire to have pregnancy, to have children. And women who were not older than 42 years at inclusion. They had to have received at least 18 months, but no longer than 30 months of endocrine therapy, to be sure that they had an effective endocrine treatment before attempting to get pregnant. And then we allowed 2 years break to try to get pregnant, and if possible, also to breastfeed. So this is a specific design, and so the results apply to this specific population. What we showed is that through a very complex statistical design, we set a number of events, of breast cancer events, which we considered safe. And then we compared the population of the positive, 516 women, to a similar population from the soft and text trial. So we took from the soft and text trial women who had the same eligibility criteria of the positive and who received continuous treatment, so did not stop. And we compared, and what we saw is that the breast cancer free interval, so the number of breast cancer events, and also the number of distant recurrences are similar between the two populations, and are not higher than the threshold which was set when designing the trial. So overall, what we can say is that so far the follow-up is not long, is 41 months, 3.4 years, but so far there is not a detrimental effect, a negative effect of interrupting endocrine therapy to try to get pregnant. What we also showed is that a very high proportion of women who tried to get pregnant after the interruption succeeded, 74%. And 317 women had a live birth, at least one live birth. And there were no excess rates of offspring complication and pregnancy complication. So the babies were healthy, despite many of these women, 60% of these women overall received chemotherapy, for example. But so not only from a breast cancer relapse perspective, but also from a pregnancy and an offspring perspective, these data are reassuring. Of course, we need to follow these women long term. 79% of these women resumed the endocrine therapy, not all of them. But I think that we can, I think quite honestly say that overall, this trial shows that it is safe to try to get pregnant after breast cancer from a breast cancer perspective. From a pregnancy perspective, complications were rare. and from an offspring perspective. So I think this is a new reassuring information for women who face breast cancer at a young age, and so they can view at their future also with the pregnancy desire. It's not just ended. This trial was not funded by drug companies, so it was really funded by the Breast International Group, the International Breast Cancer Study Group, the Alliance in the UK, and it was a really global effort, 4 continents, 20 countries, 116 centers. So really it was a very huge effort from investigators, data managers, and also supporters. So people who invested money in this kind of challenge. And so I think we're really very grateful to everyone, because we all did a very good job, and it was not easy. But I think that we provided some useful information to young patients with breast cancer.